Hello, do you know the difference between an employee and an independent contractor as workers? Stick around. That's what I'm discussing today. Hello, welcome to Take a Step to a Better You, a channel where I discuss business tips, ways to make money online, motivational messages, and in between. Like everything is intended to ask you to take a step to make your life better. My name is Sherifa Nakalima. I'm a business owner in Virginia, USA. If you are new, welcome. If you've been here before, thank you for supporting this message of empowering ourselves to make our life better. Today, I'm talking about employees and independent contractors, the difference. By the way, I ask you to please support this channel by subscribing and sharing my messages and putting comments. Let's have a discussion. I always read those messages. Some may take a little longer, but I respond to all the messages. So please don't forget to do that. Do you know the difference between an employee and an independent contractor, especially if you are hiring people? This message is going to be more relevant to people in USA, but wherever you are, think about this topic and ask the right person to ask is your accountant or your CPA or SCA. I mean, whoever is dealing with taxes is the person to ask. And if you are not so sure about this specific topic, for USA, you can go to the IRS website and read about it. I'm not an expert, that's the disclaimer, but I do this every day. Both I hire employees and I also, my business is hired as an independent contractor. So this is what I'm talking about here. It has happened to me. I'm sharing what I know, remember? So it's very, very important that you know the difference between an employee and an independent worker. An independent worker is going to normally be a self-employed person or someone owning their own business when you're hiring them. And do you know why it's so important? Because hiring a contractor tends to be cheaper, like 30% cheaper, but you have to follow the guidelines because you may end up hiring someone, you call them a contractor, when actually they qualify to be employees. And you're going to cause trouble for yourself and your business. So please, if you need to pause this video, to get like a pen and paper and note these few points so that these will be guidelines as you go research some more about these two classifications. I'm going to list 6 points. I have 6 points here that I'm going to talk about to differentiate an employee and a contractor. That's what I listed, but you may find you have more, and also depending on the kind of business you have. Again, as I'm talking about this, I'm talking about my situation. I own an S corporation. An S corporation may be different from the kind of business you're having. So your situation may be different. Please, I have a video I recorded about the classifications of businesses and companies. I'll put it in the description below. Go watch that. I go in a few details. I think by the time you leave that video, you know the differences between these companies. But what I'm talking about here relates to me, but think about how it may relate to you. Point number 1, to know if you're dealing with an employee when you're hiring someone to work for you or a contractor. Point number 1 is, who has the control? Do you have the control of what this person is going to do in your business, how they're going to do it, and where it's going to be done? If you're controlling all those 3, most likely you're hiring an employee. If they have to sit in your office, use your computer, sit in your desk, I mean, that's most likely an employee. But for a contractor, all we mostly care about is the result, like what they do. Well, like, for example, if you want someone to design a website for you, and you're not guiding them, okay, here and there, and they only care about that the website is done, and they sit in their office and they do it, and show you the final website done, that most likely is a contractor. But if someone is in your office, maybe you hired a graphic designer and they are sitting down and doing everything, and they're using your computer and all that, you may find that this time that's an employee. Maybe they have other works they do in this same office. Point number 2 is, do you provide the tools, what they use to do this job? I'll give an example. Like I said, I'm both an employer, but I'm also a contractor in my business. Like in my cleaning business, I tend to get contracts with property management companies. Maybe they're managing offices or homes. Like when people move in and move out, they hire me I have contracts to go clean them. So when I'm doing this job, the tools I use, like the vacuum, the vehicles, everything is mine. So I'm a contractor. But if you have an employee using your computers, using your vehicles, using everything, you provide everything they use to do their job, most likely that one is an employee. And remember, the important thing why we need to classify these people, I'll come to that point later, but I already mentioned that is there are penalties if you mix them up. So that was point number 2. Point number 1, who has the control? And so point number 2, who provide the tools that are used to do this job? Point number 3 is like the protections. By the way, this is my list. You might find something else, these things are mentioned differently if you are doing your research. This is my list. So the protections, like when I'm running my company, I have liability insurance. I have insurance to protect what we do. Like when we go to clean people's homes or offices, I have liability insurance. I have workman's compensation, all that. So who is providing this? If you're responsible, like me, if I'm hiring my ladies, they go out to clean, they are going under my protections. Whatever happens in that home, I'm responsible. So those are my employees. But on the other hand, if I go out to clean other contractors, remember I'm doing both. If I'm hired to the property managers, they give me a building to go clean their office. When I step in, the protections are mine. I'm paying the insurance, I'm paying everything. That's why, like for example, right now, in some buildings, I have to have $1 million protection to be able to get keys for that place. So it's so important. Now, who is providing the protections? If I'm paying the insurance, I'm a contractor for those buildings. But if I'm sending employees out to go clean a place, then those are my employees. I'm paying the protection. I hope I'm not confusing you because I'm doing both. I hire people, but I also am hired as a contractor. I hope it's not confusing. So when you pay for your employees, the insurance and the workman's compensation, you are hiring, those are employees, because you don't pay that for contractors. That's why those people don't pay for me. Okay, point number 4. Like after those points that I mentioned so far, now you know the kind of person you're hiring. Let's assume you are hiring an employee. As an employee, you are responsible for the following. You are responsible, which is point number 4, the minimum wage. You have to pay them a minimum wage, and you have to pay them overtime if they work more, like where I am here, over 40 hours as overtime for me, for my company. If I have ladies cleaning and they go over the 40 hours, even if it's just 1 hour, believe me, even if it's just 1 hour, my CPA is very, very strict. They'll be paid overtime. And other benefits like, okay, that's an employee. You are responsible, like, to pay them according to the laws. But when it comes to the contractor, you negotiate. Like I could say, this is what I charge to clean this building. It's in a contract. So mostly there are no laws. It goes by market price, and some jobs you have to bid out and provide what you're going to charge, and then you win the bid. You get the contract. So with contractors, the game is different. Just call it a game. So know that when you have an employee, there are rules. You have to know, you make sure you are paying them not below the minimum wage. You're giving them their overtime. And then that brings me to number 5. There are some benefits that you're supposed to provide, like health insurance or maybe retirement benefits, like sick leave, all that, the benefits according to what you can afford. Because here, like us small businesses, we may not afford to provide some of these benefits, like health insurance, but whatever you can provide or you're required to provide according to your business size, make sure you are doing it for the people you call employees. Now, point number 6. If these are employees, make sure you're deducting the payroll taxes and you're paying your share. This everyone knows. Even a simple bookkeeper knows how to deal with payroll taxes. Make sure you have someone who knows what they are doing and they're deducting the taxes properly, and you're paying them. You're paying all the quarterly reports. You're doing everything to do with the payroll taxes. Now, of course, for the contractor, you're not responsible for payroll taxes. What happens, whatever, if you came and worked and the contract says it's $300, I get all my $300. They don't deduct off any taxes. I'm responsible for my own taxes. Now, there are forms for USA, where I'm in Virginia. When you hire an employee, they fill out a W-4 form. And at the end of the year, a W-4 form, that's where they put their name, social security number, whether they are married or single. That's what they sign. And that's how you based on that form to know how to deduct the taxes, what they qualify for. And at the end of the year, you give them, I think by January 31st, you give them a W-2, which you show all those payments and deductions, and they use that to file their personal taxes. For a contractor, when you hire them, they sign a form W-9. Remember, again, it's USA. They sign, like me, when I'm hired somewhere for a contract, I sign W-9, and that's where I give the name, make the name of the company. I do this in my business name, and then it's a tax ID this time, not social security number. Or some people are contractors in their own name, and they use their own social security number. So that's a W-9. And at the end of the year, I think by January 31st again, you have to give all your contractors a 1099. 1099 form is going to show all the total amount you paid them. Now, it's a little bit different when with a contractor, you give them the 1099 only if you paid them at least $600 in the year. For example, if you hired them one time and they did the job, $500, you are not required to pay them a 1099. I'm quoting that right. I think it's still $600. And you're not required. Now, remember, when you give them that 1099, you're also sending a copy to the IRS. So the IRS will know that you paid this person so much money. And if you are watching me and you are a contractor, if you receive that 1099, please make sure you file your taxes, because a copy is already with the IRS and they're expecting you to pay your taxes. So that would be like a different topic, the importance of paying your taxes, because remember, you're getting a full amount, but you have like self-employment tax, which is really, really high. make sure you reserve maybe like 30% of the money before you spend all of it to prepare for paying your taxes. Remember, they are paying you like January, February, March, or like for the previous year. This tax bill is coming later. So it's better that you save some money for taxes, or you're going to be shocked because it's really, really high bill. So it's important to classify, especially the mistake will come where you have a problem is if you misclassify an employee and call them a contractor, because that means you didn't pay all the payroll taxes, everything you're supposed to do, you didn't do. So if you are caught in that kind of situation, you're going to pay heavy, heavy, heavy penalties. So please be careful. But where you can, you hire contractors and treat them the right way. You'll see that the reason why people are hiring us to go clean their offices, because they don't want to keep a full-time person cleaning the office, because it's more expensive, because like all those benefits and everything. But when they pay us and they follow all the rules, there's no problem. As long as they're reporting the income they pay us to the IRS, there's no problem. So you always weigh. We can talk to your accountant. When it's cheaper, hire a contractor, because when it can work, like the terms, remember? If you are in charge of everything, their time and their tools and all that, then your accountant will say, no, it's not right. This one is an employee. So make sure you don't break those rules. That's my video today. And I hope you find some value. Go research some more according to your business, especially if you're an online work. Most people you're hiring are most likely contractors. But then if they're international, especially, the forms are different. The forms you have to fill out. So please consult your accountant. Make sure you're doing everything right. Don't bring trouble to your business. I hope you liked it. Please give it a thumbs up. Click on the like. Share it if you know anyone in business or thinking about starting a business. These issues are very important. Also, please subscribe, support this message, and put some comments. What do you think? Do you hire? Do you have contractors? Or are you a contractor yourself? What I said here, what do you think about it? Remember, don't take my information as like 100%. Just go find out some more. Always consult an accountant, because every business is different. I'm in Virginia, USA, and I'm also an S corporation. Again, there is a video link below to go learn more about those classifications of companies if you need to learn some more. And make sure you are not doing business, you are not doing a business as a sole proprietor. I keep repeating it. Is not safe. You don't have all the protections you need. Like I always end these videos, take very good care of yourself. Take very good care of your family, of your health. Take a step to a better you. Bye-bye.